This is Celebration TV. Revealing Jesus, releasing destinies. This is Celebration TV. Revealing Jesus, releasing destinies. This is Celebration TV.
Welcome to News Desk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femi Marks.
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details. Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV News Desk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT plus 1. That is 11 a.m. GMT plus 1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV News Desk. The whole truth. To 15.7 trillion naira at the end of December 2019.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing him of committing a gross offense.
The All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor, Ibikunle Amosu.
To 15.7 trillion naira at the end of December 2019.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing him of committing a gross offense.
The All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor, Ibikunle Amosu.
Welcome to Celebration Television News Desk. I am Belly Squatter. Thanks for joining us. Here is the news making the headlines. Lagos State discharges 24 COVID-19 patients. Cameroon accused of treating coronavirus lightly. NHS contact tracing app in place by end of the month, says Minister. Firms expect further Naira depreciation. Dollar sells for 440 Naira. And EPL clubs to substitute 5 players after season restarts. Stay with us as the details of the news comes after the break. Welcome back. Now the news in full. Lagos State discharges 24 COVID-19 patients. 15 males, 9 females undergoing treatment for coronavirus at isolation centers in Lagos State have been discharged. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu made this known in a statement. He said the patients were discharged after testing negative twice for the virus. Reports have it that a total of 952 patients have been discharged from the Lagos isolation centers. Sanwo-Olu said to the people of Lagos State that 24 more COVID-19 patients fully recovered. 15 males and 9 females, all Nigerians, were discharged from the Onikan, Bagada, Agidingbi and Lagos University Teaching Hospitals isolation facilities to reunite with society. The patients, 4 from Onikan, 1 from Bagada, 1 from Agidingbi and 18 from the Lut Isolation Center were discharged having fully recovered and tested negative to COVID-19. With this, the number of COVID-19 confirmed cases that have been successfully managed and discharged in Lagos State have risen to 952. And now moving forward, Lagos State approves church mosque reopening on June 19. The Lagos State government has relaxed its ban on religious activities, calling for adherence to all safety protocols to curb the spread of the COVID-19. The governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, during a press briefing at Lagos House Marina, said churches will open only on Sundays and mosque on Fridays. Sanwo-Olu said while Muslims could congregate for their Jumat services from June 19, Christians could return to their places of worship from June 21st. The governor said all permitted religious activities must be conducted within the ambit of a set of new protocols for organized gatherings rolled out by an inter-ministerial committee chaired by the Commissioner of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Relations, Tayo Bambose Martins. Sanwo-Olu prohibited vulnerable persons from participating in organized religious gatherings, saying houses of worship must consider the options of virtual platforms for members below 15 years and above 65 years. On another story, the federal government of Nigeria plans 500 houses for IDPs in Zamfara. The federal government has disclosed plans to conduct 500 houses for the 3,000 internally displaced persons in Zamfara state. This was revealed by the Federal Commissioner of National Commissions for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, Senator Bashir Mohammed. Mohammed made the disclosure while presenting relief materials to refugees in the state. He said the commission was at the advantage stage with public and private investors to conduct the houses. He added that buildings would be fully equipped with facilities and livelihood support scheme linked to clean water and health infrastructure as a phase one of which to approach health maintenance, financial inclusion and the creation of jobs. Mohammed also said President Muhammadu Buhari was deeply concerned about the plight of the 2.4 million IDP across the country and their reinstatement so that they will live a normal life. And now moving on to news from around Africa. Cameroon accused of treating coronavirus lightly. Measures to combat the novel coronavirus in Cameroon are triggering an avalanche of criticism in one of the countries most affected by the pandemic in sub-Saharan Africa. With late border closures, no containment period, bars, restaurants and discotheques remaining open, masks imposed late, schools and universities reopening prematurely, Yaoundé seems to stall and then sail on site, suggesting that its authority did not take the danger for the COVID-19 seriously when many other African countries imposed radical measures very early on. President Paul Biya, who has been in power nearly for 4 decades, only appeared publicly on television on the 19th of May, pressured by the opposition and even the WHO after more than 2 months of deafening silence. Meanwhile, all his African peers were early on publicly at least took up the torch of the fight against the virus. In less than 3 months, the number of reported cases rose from 1 to more than 6,500 in early June, with more than 200 deaths out of a population of 25 million. Cameroon did not close its land, air or sea borders until 18th of March, 12 days after the first imported case and weeks after many other African countries. It limited the number of people allowed in the gathering to 50, while others set it at 10. Until the 30th of April 2020, when the government unexpectedly eased these restrictions, bars, restaurants and discos were allowed to reopen at 6 p.m. and measures to distance public transport were eased. This led to an almost total relaxation of the population, as if this announcement sounded the end of the epidemic. Against all expectations, the government also reopened doors of schools, colleges, high schools and universities on the 1st of June even though it anticipates the epidemic's peak in June, a premature resumption according to the country's teachers' unions. And still from around Africa, Tunisia plans to resume commercial flights late June. Tunisia moves to resume commercial flights as it plans to reopen its airspace, land and sea borders on June 27, 2020 as part of full deconfinement scheduled for June 14. The Minister of State in charge of Transport and the Tourism Minister inspected the Tunisia Carthage International Airport from the check-in desk at the Border Police Service. The two ministers toured the airport accompanied by a host of officials and journalists. Minister of Tourism Mohammed Ali Toumi said on June 27th they are talking about opening borders. That is to say, they can see other companies, that the national companies, that's TUNIS-Air, landing at Tunis Carthage Airport or other airports in the country. They want to make sure that the infrastructure is ready to eventually receive travelers, visitors, customers, whether through tours operators or individually. Minister in charge of Transport Anwar Maruf said talks are underway with all the countries they have direct flights to. The airport currently receives only a few official flights or repatriation planes from nationals stranded abroad. Between January 21st and March 12, 100,000 Tunisians have been repatriated, but several remain stranded abroad despite the state's effort to repatriate its nationals. We're going to break right now. When we come back, we'll get news from the United Kingdom. Stay with us.
Welcome to News Desk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femima.
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details. Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV News Desk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT plus 1. That is 11 a.m. GMT plus 1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV News Desk. The whole truth.
A union of God's favor, divinely fruitful, a journey of love, wondrous beauty, helped and blessed by God. Destinies, excellence. Happy 16th marriage anniversary to Apostle Johnson and Dr. Lindsay Sweetman.
For the love of good music, we have got you covered. Enjoy top gospel hits back to back and also join our special entertainment gist as we unveil the new face of Gospel Rhythm Unveiled this Saturday, 6th June 2020.
Welcome to News Desk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femima.
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details. Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV News Desk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT plus 1. That is 11 a.m. GMT plus 1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV News Desk. The whole truth.
Welcome back. Now on news from the United Kingdom, the NHS contact tracing app in place by end of month, says Minister. A new NHS coronavirus contact tracing app should be in place by the end of the month, a minister had said. Business Minister Naheem Zahawi said the app, which was trialed in the Isles of Wight, will be running as soon as it is robust. New test and trace systems were launched in England and Scotland, but without the app due to delays. A senior NHS boss said the system will be imperfect at the first but world-class by the end of autumn. The paper said the chief operating officer of the Test and Trace scheme said the scheme should be fully working by September or October. The NHS app, which will be automatically alert people, began being trialed on the Isles of Wight early in May. The government said then it hoped it will launch nationwide by the middle of May. Meanwhile, doctors have urged the government to make face covering compulsory in all places where social distancing is not possible, not just on public transport. The government said all passengers on public transport in England must wear a covering from 15th of June. The NHS app was originally planned to be part of last week's scheme on England's Test and Trace scheme, but the app rollout was delayed because more trials were needed. Now, Scotland also launched its tracing scheme last week, while Northern Ireland also had a contact tracing program up and running. And now more updates from the United States of America. Lawyer says pandemic of racism led to death. A lawyer for George Floyd has told a memorial service that a pandemic of racism led to his death. Those gathered at the Thursday's tribute stood in silence for 8 minutes 46 seconds, the amount of time Floyd was alleged to be on the ground under the control of police in Minneapolis. Hundreds attended the service, which also heard an eulogy from civil rights activist Reverend R. Sharpton. It was time to stand up and say, "Get your knee off my neck," he said. Mr. Floyd's killing, which was captured on video, had caused outrage and sparked a wave of protest in cities across the United States. Meanwhile, a few block away, 3 police officers charged with aiding and abetting Mr. Floyd's murder made their first appearance in court. Bail was set at $1 million, that's an equivalent of £800,000, but would be lowered to $750,000 if they handed in any guns they owned and met other conditions, the judge said. Derek Chauvin, the officer who continued to kneel on Mr. Floyd's neck as he pleaded that he could not breathe, has been charged with second-degree murder and is due to appear in court on Monday. The vast majority of demonstrations over the past 8 days have been peaceful, but some have descended into violence and rioting, with curfews imposed in a number of cities. And right now, on news from the world of business, firms expect further naira depreciation. Dollar sells for 440 naira. Business organizations in the country expect the naira to depreciate further in the next few months, a report by the Central Bank of Nigeria said. The dollar sold for 440 naira in the parallel market, and as bureau, the change operators were still waiting for the CBN's resumption of foreign exchange sale to them. The CBN's May 2020 Business Expectation Survey report said respondent firms expect the naira to depreciate in the current month, next 2 months, and appreciate in the next 6 months. Inflation level is expected to rise in the next 6 months and 12 months, while the borrowing rate is expected to rise in the current month, next 2 months, and next 6 months. Highlights of the survey outcome showed that the respondent firms expressed pessimism and the macroeconomy. The report also showed that respondents' outlook on the volume of total order, credit access, average capacity utilization, and financial conditions, that's the working capital, have resumed in May. And I'm optimistic about the volumes of business activity. The firms identified insufficient power supply, financial problems, unfavorable economic climate, competition, high interest rate, insufficient demand, unclear economic laws, access to credit, unfavorable political climate, and insufficient demands as major factors containing business activity. And more from the world of business, the federal government bars debtors from bidding for oil fields. Companies, including their promoters, indebted to the federal government will not be allowed to participate in the newly launched bid round for marginal oil fields, the Department of Petroleum Resources has said. The DPR in a document said applicants should demonstrate the ability to fully meet the objective of undertaking expeditious and efficient development of marginal field. A marginal field is any field that has been discovered and has been left unattended for a period of less than 10 years from the date of first discovery, or such field as the President may from time to time identify as a marginal field according to the DPR. The DPR has announced that at the start of 2020 marginal field bid rounds for indigenous companies and investors interested in participating in the exploitation and production business in the country. The DPR said the consideration would be given to the host community and state participation, as well as a commitment to social project and or proposal aimed at the socio-economic development of the populace in the host community and state. The bid round is aimed at the growing production capacity by expanding the scope of participation in Nigeria's petroleum sector and increasing oil and gas reserves based through aggressive exploration and development efforts. All right, we're going to break right now, another break. When we come back, we get news from the world of sports. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome to News Desk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femi Marks.
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details. Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV News Desk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT+1, that is 11 a.m. GMT+1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV News Desk, the whole truth. From a vision we began a mission. Now we here. A long journey with a beautiful now, touching lives, blessing homes, bringing the best of entertainment and reaching the ends of the earth by revealing Jesus and releasing destinies. It's been 7 years of God's perfection. Celebration TV at 7. Happy anniversary.
A union of God's favor, divinely fruitful, a journey of love, wondrous beauty, helped and blessed by God, Destinies, excellence. Happy 16th marriage anniversary to Apostle Johnson and Dr. Osimhen.
Welcome to News Desk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femi Marks.
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details. Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV News Desk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT+1, that is 11 a.m. GMT+1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV News Desk, the whole truth.
Welcome back. Now on sports news, Osimhen enters verbal agreement with Napoli. Lille star Victor Osimhen has reached a verbal agreement with Napoli over a summer move, according to a close source. The Nigerian international has been courted by top European clubs following the impressive debut season, although Lille are desperate to keep hold of him. Several reports claim that Lille are asking for a €60 million transfer fee for Osimhen, with agents demanding a 5-year deal with an annual wage of €4 million, excluding bonuses. The 21-year-old is playing on as left for Lille's contract, and the club will be forced to cash in if he continues to attract mammoth offers from team. Victor Osimhen scored 18 goals and recorded 6 assists in 31 appearances before the League One season was called off due to COVID-19. He was voted Lille's player of the season following his exploits in his debut season in France. And moving on to another sports news, the English Premier League clubs to substitute 5 players after season restarts. English Premier League clubs will be able to use 5 substitutes rather than the usual 3 when the season resumes on June 17th. The changes will be temporary so as to mitigate the package scheduled clubs will have after a 3-month suspension to the season caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. There are 92 outstanding fixtures with a majority of teams facing 9 matches in a 6-week period. For the remaining of the 2019-2020 season, the number of substitutes that can be used during the match will increase from 3 to 5 players, a Premier League statement said after a meeting of stakeholders. This in line with the temporary law amendment made by the International Football Association Board, the IFAB, last month. Clubs will be able to have 9 substitutes on the bench, up for the usual 7. And that's the size of the news on Celebration Television News Desk. If you are just joining us right now, this is a recap of the news making the headlines. Lagos State discharges 24 COVID-19 patients. Cameroon is accused of treating coronavirus lightly. The NHS contract tracing app in place by the end of the month, says ministers. Firms expect further naira depreciation, dollar sells for 440 naira. And the EPL clubs to substitute 5 players after the season restarts. And now on the photo of the day, we read, education is our passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to the people who prepare for it today. Education is our passport for the future, so the tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. So wherever you dream of, wherever you aspire for, you must prepare for it today so that you can be a success in whatever you do. Tell us what you think about the photo of the day on our social media platforms. On Facebook, we are Celebration TV. On Instagram, we are My Celebration TV. On Twitter, it's at My Celebration TV. And on YouTube, it's www.youtube.com/Celebration TV. You can also watch us on our Sky TV platform on channel 598. And don't forget that the continuous transformation of our society is a collective responsibility of all. No matter the office you hold as a nation's president, a thought leader, an opinion molder, a character builder, a professional, or as a person pursuing passion, you have a duty to give your all to making the society a better place for us and the generations to come. So, play your parts and do it with all diligence. My name is Belly Squetta, and you have a beautiful weekend. Thank you.
To 15.7 trillion naira at the end of December 2019.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing him of committing a gross offense.
The All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor, Ibikule Amosu.